Welcome back to the Newcomers Podcast, where I explore what it means to be an immigrant with immigrants like myself. Today, I'm speaking with Kateryna Havrylova, who's the co-founder of Best Windows Solution and Doors. But that's not the story. The story is Kateryna gets up one day in 2022 for February. Actually, I think it was before February 24th. Packs 2 bags with her husband and her kid, and they go to Poland. And then on a day or so before her husband's birthday is on the 25th, a neighbor calls them and says, "Yo, the war just started and a missile hit the house." And all of a sudden, a vacation goes from a vacation to a 1 year trip around some parts of Europe and then down to Canada here as an immigrant. This was some story for a ton of reasons. But yeah, let's get to it. Enjoy. In your docu-story with me when we did the CCIS docu-story, you talked about having to, you were on holidays and then you found out that you were leaving, that you weren't going back home. I want to, like, what did that feel?
Oh wow, how did they feel? How did I feel? Um, Felt just devastated, desperate. Didn't know what to do. Like first day, like when the war started. You're telling the truth. We gone for vacation. Because my husband actually has a birthday on February 25th, and the war started February 24th, and we have family tradition to travel for his birthday. So we just got our like bags for vacation and went to Poland. And then, like early morning, like at 3 a.m., I've got a call from our friend that war started, that actually missile hit the house, which is nearby to our house. And he was like shocked and he was like, "What should I do? Where should I go?" And my husband just told him, like, "Hey, take your car and like go as far as you can." So this is how it started. Then I called my parents, so they were okay. Uh, but like the several next months after the war, it was really hard for all of the people to adjust because it was the times when I couldn't reach my family due to internet connection and cell phone connection issues. Sometimes they just hide, under the ground because of missiles attack, and it was very difficult moments to guess, hey, if they're alive or not, or what is going on. Because I'm from Kharkiv, and my city was the first to be occupied by Russians, but now it's Ukraine again. Yeah, so we just gone, and like back home we had a business as well, so it was car business. We were connected with importing cars, with imports. So for us it was a big issue because our cars uh, were going from states in containers, and shipping line just dropped them in the nearest ports. So I had 400 cars in the transit to Ukraine when the war started, and I needed to handle that. So I collected all the cars around the Europe, and we had another issue when we were not able to pay for the freight forwarding services because our national bank started that protection policy when you couldn't make any international transfers. So we kind of dealt with that. And also, a lot of our clients were not able to pay us due to the situation. Like they lost their homes, houses, jobs. What was difficult. So this is how my immigration started. So far, we lived in Poland. We spent some times in Germany, and then we came back to Poland again, and then we went to Canada. And like short
I'm so
story.
sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. How? What did you tell your kid? At all those times? Like, did he feel it? Did he understand it? Or did he sense that things weren't exactly as they should?
Uh, of course, yeah. So he was 3 years old when we left the country, and he was shocked. As at first we were shocked. Like, uh, to tell the truth, I thought it's gonna be like the Third World War. I thought like, okay, y- when we learned them at school about the Second World War and like how we remember there was a like food crisis, and I was like, okay, we need to save food, we need to save money, we need to we should finish your breakfast because probably in few months we will not have like food to eat.
Gosh.
What was going on in my head? Yeah, so but yeah, anyway, he missed his friends, and like even when we came to Canada, that was like 1 year after the war started. When he did his paintings, he used only two colors, which are the colors of our flag, blue and yellow, and that was very, very painful to me. And even now, he says, "No, I'm not Canadian. I'm Ukrainian. Like I was born in Ukraine, and like I don't, I didn't need Canadian passport." Like he's 6 now. Yeah.
you're you're something. You and your family, you all are superheroes, honestly. Because I can't even imagine. Like, did you say like? I mean, because I know that because I'm looking at it from outside in because I'm not Ukrainian. Where was I when that happened? The war started 3 years about
2022, February
2022. Yeah, so I was just moving
21st.
to I was moving from Ottawa to Calgary about that point in time. Did you all sense that probably was going to get to a war before you are going on the holiday, or did you think that it will get sorted out and you will go back home?
Yeah, actually, like I felt that it's going to happen. Um, Mostly, like I can't say I felt, but I knew I had the proper education for that. I have master's degree in international economics, and we were taught, not to listen what politicians says, but to read that signs. So I watched the interview of German Chancellor Scholz and Putin before the war started, and like I watched it without like
Without
without
the
the any voices. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
just watched, and from their mimics, movements, how did they look at each other? I said no, they didn't find the agreement,
yeah,
uh, and yeah, like I just analyzed what was going on. I checked the flights. You have don't remember how this program calls, but actually, you're like everyone is able to track flights, and I saw that many Ukrainian private boards that belong to businessmen or politicians left the country. And that was a red flag for me. I saw that interviews, I saw like the Russian groups around our borders, and like I was smart enough not to believe that it's just like they just learning how to handle like all of that. Yeah, and but everyone else thought I'm crazy because yeah, it's craziness, right? To start the war in Europe in 2022. Come on, it's 21st century. We know
yeah.
how to do negotiations, right?
Hmm.
We learned the lesson from the Second World War. And yeah, that's crazy. And like me saying that, hey guys, the war is coming. We need to do something about that. So we packed the little bag with our documents and some cash money, just in case. And yeah, so we took that back for our vacation. And like how it's like how we say in Ukraine, it was like third feeling. Like I made the photos of our like, photo wall at home, just to remember how it was, and just for my son to see how it was like. Um, but now he doesn't remember anything about our apartments. Yeah, yeah, and about like how it was before the war started. Unfortunately, yeah. But what I do, I ask my mom to send me photos of my childhood, his childhood, and we just show him photos because I really want him to remember his roots and
Yeah.
like how it all started, like where we coming from, what is our culture, who we are. Yeah.
Uh, how do you manage to? I mean, I would have lost my mind, honestly. I think the question I'm trying to ask is, and I know I asked you this in the interview and in the other interview, and you broke down. So I'm wondering what I should ask you, but I really want to know, and I want to explore that with you. Is how often you talk to your parents?
Now we connected like almost every day by phone. Um, it is very painful for me. Yeah, you're right, because we have a very warm relationship with my family parents, with my grandmother, like with my cousins, uncle and aunts. We were always, the big family who gathers like every weekends
Oh gosh, that's so
barbecue.
sweet.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard because yes, I feel alone here without my family and without their support. And um, now I understand what they feel, but I'm not in that situation with them, right? And they kind of understand what is going on here with my life, but they don't get it, 100% because they are not in
Yes.
this circumstances. So it's kind of, I'm not saying that this is kind of not a huge break, like not something like that, but we're so far away from each other, and we still family, we still love each other, right? But we're not involved in each other's life anymore. I know that for many people, like it's totally fine, and in most countries, like kids just go away from parents' houses and live on their own lives, like, and they chat like one time in a month. But this is not about our family. We always kept, very strong connection because, yeah, that this is how we were raised. Yeah, this is our culture.
You're something, honestly, because you're going through all these, and then you came here, you set up a business, you're doing amazing stuff, you're raising your kid. If people don't
Yeah,
tell you
but
that enough,
yeah, did I have another choice? I mean, we life is just a set of choices we do, right? So yeah, I did have another choice to give up, but this is not
yeah,
about me. So I just came here, just opened my heart to new culture, open my mind for new knowledge. Yeah, and did it. I adjusted. This is my advice for all immigrants. If you ever plan or thought about immigration, you need to be ready to be open minded, to adjust, to accept the culture, not to change the culture where you're coming, but to accept it and like still be the person who you are,
yes,
but understand that people here are different and like their way of life is different. And you need to follow this if you want to succeed, if you want to feel happy, included
yeah.
in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very important actually. And that thing you say about is you don't people come. I mean, I hate the word assimilate. I don't think people should assimilate. I think you should integrate. But
Yeah.
also what you say is important is
Mm,
accept that it's a different place and your job is not to change it, but to make it better if you can. That's your job. Is how do you make the
that's
place
true.
better? It's not, oh, I want to change. No, it's can I make this better? And but to do that, you need to first understand why it is the way it is, which goes back to what you're saying about keeping an open mind and being like, okay, I'm in Canada, and this is just what it is, you know. And honestly, you're an inspiration because I have no freaking right to complain about anything.
Yeah.
I got up with my family and I moved here. You literally had to. You came here with a vacation bag after living in Europe for 1 year. Like, gosh,
Yeah.
why did you choose Canada though?
Canada, like that was simple. Remember that I mentioned to you that something was happening in my head, that I was scared. I was freaked out. And I thought, okay, if the third world war is going to happen, we need to be in the safest place in the country. There is nobody going, to attack with missiles. And yeah, we chose Canada for that because we thought, okay, actually our business is connected with states because we import cars from United States. But no, like states is the one who is going to be there because they kind of the big player, right? Then we thought, okay, what we can do about like what in other countries because Europe doesn't really looks safe even now. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be there. So we decided, okay, Canada. hmm Canada, good for families, safe. Check mark. Still can do business there. Okay, check mark. And also, it was warm here, but not in terms of weather. Very cold here. But
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. When we came here, and actually, like, what is the most like the craziest part of the story of my immigration, like from Poland to Canada, that we actually just came to visit our friend here who moved here. Yes. So I paid like 1 month in advance for our house in Poland. We just took our bags. Like we didn't have a lot of like clothes or stuff. We left with two bags and we had two bags again. So we came here and like, oh wow, I feel safe here. I feel that this community actually do not mind having me here. And I explain you why I'm saying that because in Europe, most nations, they keep it like I may say nationalism, right? Uh, when you're there, like we lived in Poland and I learned Polish. I was very good and like not very good, but I was able to deal with daily, stuff, like even to call to the lawyer, like yeah. So, but I didn't feel I belong to that community. I didn't feel they accept me. Like, and it's kind of feeling. I don't know even how to explain that, but when you're like, and I hear that's about all the European countries. They stick to their community. They don't want to let immigrants in. Like in Germany, in France, they like, okay, we are French and like we're first class and you're an immigrant, you're second class. And that was I felt. And when I came to Canada, I really didn't feel that. And I was really afraid about like my English, my accent, like will people understand me? Will I understand them? But then when I came here, I saw this diversity of nations and I saw this inclusion and I saw that every nation respects each other. And then like we spent here uh, 10 days and I told my husband, you know what, I feel this is a good place for us to settle down because I feel safe here. And like this is the first time when I really feel like calmness, like since the war started and like living 1 year in Poland, I feel we can be here. So decision was made. We just canceled our flight back. I told my mom and I told like, Mom, you know what? We decided to stay in Canada. And she was like, okay, wow. Good. We can do something about that. I need a visa.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go back to your parents and your family.
Okay.
The first part for me is: has your son started drawing with other colors yet?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
He started. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, like about this colors. Yeah, I mentioned that he started. He like only was yellow and blue. Then about in 8 months, he started to use red, and that was for Canada. He kind of accepted. Okay, I'm here. Now, when he is more fluent in English, when he is able to set some connections with kids, he started to use more colors. And I feel, I see now he feels more happier than 1 year ago when we arrived, when he didn't have any friends and he was like, I need a friend, but nobody understands me. And it's very painful.
Have your parents
Yeah.
ever come to see you here?
No, only my mom. Unfortunately, my dad is his ex military man. He's colonel, so he has his duties over there. And like, actually, nobody is allowed to leave the country. I mean, man is not allowed to leave the country right now. And even some women who have like
Military training?
doctors' degrees or like some military. Like who used to take some military lessons, they're
Yeah.
not allowed to leave the country as well. So yeah, this is a very painful part about my dad,
I'm
unfortunately,
sorry.
and also about my grandmother, because my granny was the person who actually raised me while in my grandfather, but he passed away, and while my parents worked hard to earn money, like, you know, it usually works like this. I mean, in all
Yeah.
communities, like young
Yeah.
generation works, and like the grandparents helps them with kids. And I really missed my granny, and I'm very sorry. I feel that it shouldn't work that way. That like now she's 75. She worked like almost all her life. She was an accountant, and by the way, she has just quitted the job. So she worked till she's 75. And now the war does not allow her like to enjoy the life. Like, when we have that calls with her, like video calls, she's saying that the only thing that keeps me alive is Michael's photos, is your photos, that I see that you're happy here. And you see again, and that we like might meet each other again, but like I'm not sure how, because she's 75 and it's really difficult for her to get a visa here. And like, um, while it is war, we're afraid to move her, to the border with Poland, because it's kind of dangerous to move from city to city. Yeah, and she is also like not as young as for this kind of traveling. So yeah, the only way probably for us to meet is like me coming to Europe, and like when situation calms down a little bit, probably they will run some negotiations so we can take her to Poland. Or probably the war will end, and I pray for that, so we can come back and see our family and relatives and like unite again. Mm. Yeah.
Would you, if the war ends, will you move back or you will live in Canada now?
No, we're not going to move back definitely, because situation is the following, that economy is damaged, like
Yeah.
society is damaged. Like
Yeah.
a lot of men who was at war, who came back with terrible injuries. Like I mean, they I can't say that they have like mental disease. It's not. This is about they just traumatized. And I know that there are a lot of weapon just going around the city. Like a lot of people now can have weapon just in their houses, homes. and it's just different. It's just dangerous son, to raise a son in this circumstances. So I just need to think about the future of my son. So and his future here definitely. But of course, if war ends, I just want to see my family. I will take the first flight back home. Yeah.
So we're rounding up now. I probably have two or three questions for you. I think
Okay.
the first one for me is: how have you tried to replace some of that community you described that you had back home with family? Have you tried to replace it here? And so far, has it worked?
Mhm. Community. Yeah, we have very strong Ukrainian community here. Of course, we have a lot of like friends, like with whom we can do barbecue weekends, right? Yeah, but I feel that thing that it's really hard to find the real, soulmates. Because like usually your cellmates are your school friends or university friends, and where you find them, right? And here, when you all came, yeah, it's easier to become closer because we're all in that bad circumstances when we need someone. We just need someone like we, right? But it's difficult to find and to become someone's soulmate. Uh, yeah. Um, I also try to integrate myself in Canadian community. Trying, to get along with mothers at school, with teachers. Like I attend business club because still the culture, the way how we communicate, even the way how we invite each other to like guests to have someone as a guest to throw that parties or to like to have some business negotiations. Everything is so different. You need to learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a little kid who's just learning to put his feet in this life. It's like when you're a teenager, you're trying, okay, how I do this, how I do this, how I can succeed in this grown-up's life. What are my plans? So I'm so that I'm around the stage when it comes, to Canadian community. I put my feet in. I'm trying. I'm asking. I really ask them. I say, hey, you do these things different than I expected it to do. So can you please tell me, like, what is the best way? How can I do this? Like, and the interesting thing, that some Ukrainians who live here like 13, 15 years and have their businesses, I hear from them, hey, I still feel like I'm an immigrant. And I was like, oh, wow, really? Like in 15 years, you still have that feeling. Okay, so I still have my time because I'm here just 2 years. So a lot of
Yeah.
work to do.
Yeah. I think it takes time. And I think that I mean, I came across this thread on Twitter some days ago about people saying how it sometimes takes 3 4 generations before, or 2 generations before, people you fully integrate, like you fully say, oh, we are Canadians. I feel like it takes
Yeah,
time. I think people gloss over that, which is why I don't like sweeping statements like, "Oh, all immigrants should assimilate." I'm like, do you know what integration means? Talk more of assimilation. You can't just force it on someone. Like it's a journey because people are people. Um,
yeah. And do you feel yourself integrated?
I don't think I'm fully integrated yet. I feel like I've been here for 4 years now.
Mm,
February 4th this month was actually 4 years in Canada, and I'm just beginning.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm just beginning to feel like, so, like, for example, this was my first easiest winter. What do I mean is
Okay.
that it just felt like the winter, like it felt like part of my life. This was my
Okay.
first winter
Nice.
when it just felt like, oh, okay, yeah, it's winter. Like, because every other winter that I've gone through
Mm,
here, it's always felt like some dark moment where things like, what is going on? You know? So this was the first time where I was telling my wife that it just felt like winter just happened. Like, oh, winter is almost over. We're getting to spring. Oh, that's good. Because
Yeah.
somehow it just went on. Like life went on. So, and you're right. Like, although what the person told you is right. Like, it takes time. And I'm going 4 years and I still feel like the order sometimes. I still doubt myself. I still worry about my accent. I still worry that people don't understand me. I still second guess myself before I say stuff. I'm still I go into some bars and I feel so out of place that I walk out of it because I'm like, gosh, I'm the only black person here. I still struggle with all of that. And I'm 4 years in.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just the burden of being an immigrant, is that
Yeah.
I've just made peace with the fact that I'll probably always feel like the other till I get old and pass on. But that my child will have a much better life than I did because they will be more integrated in society than I was. But my
Yeah.
job is just to make sure that I help them and show them the way, and I try to understand society for what it is and make it much better than I met it. So you're just starting, and I think it's a journey. I think the goal is for me is people should see it as a journey. It's not some race. It's not some
Yeah.
race where there's no finish line. There's just you living your
Definitely.
life. There's no finish line.
Yes. Definitely.
Just the finish line. I think my last question for you, which is basically how how's your sense of identity changed over time? Like, so do you? I believe you still see yourself as Ukrainian, but like
Yeah.
in terms of who Katerina is right now, like how has it changed? If you look at the lady who left for Poland and the lady who's talking to me today, you know, is it the same Katerina? How has it changed? Has Canada influenced you a ton, or you're still pushing back a bit?
I definitely changed. I had so many lessons during these 2 years. I had so many stressed moments that proved myself, that made me stronger, definitely. Like, I'm not fragile anymore. After what has happened to me, I feel that everything is possible. You just need to want it, just see it, work hard for it, like go for it. I definitely stronger now. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to feel uncomfortable. Like when you do your first steps in immigration, like you mentioned you were, and I mentioned you were about your accent, how people will perceive you, how people will look at you. But like during those 2 years, I did this uncomfortable situation so many times that now I just don't care. Like, think about me, whatever you want. I'm just learning. I'm on my way.
Oh gosh, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And I think that
actually, this is a good advice for newcomers. I know
yeah,
that your podcast is for newcomers and for those who are thinking to become a newcomer. You shouldn't care what people will think about you here. You should only care how to reach your aim, why you are here. Like, definitely, most immigrants come to Canada for the better life, right? So you should see your better life somewhere here, and you just walk in to this, and no matter what happens, you will find a solution.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you for just sharing your story honestly. And I'm gonna say it again. You are a superhero.
Thank you. Like, we
You
all
are.
superheroes. I mean, a lot of people are superheroes who are changing their lives. Yeah, yeah. My story was a little bit difficult, was worst part, way difficult, but everything is possible. That is my life motto.
Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Honestly, everything is possible. Because like Katrina says about we immigrants, By the time you go through all the very, very uncomfortable moments where you have to face yourself, because you actually face yourself every single time you go through one of those uncomfortable moments, you get stronger, you get better. And for me, like, that's a superpower we have. So let's not waste it. Thanks for getting to this point of the episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for sharing. If you know someone who should listen to this, please send it their way. If you know someone we should talk to, send them my way. And as always, like, share, subscribe. You know, we're on Substack, we're on YouTube, anywhere you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, anywhere. As always, peace out.